Today's video is all about mock draft roundup. What player does the mainstream media have the Detroit Lions selecting at pick 29, round 1 of the 2024 NFL Draft? We're going to go through all the players like CBS Sports, ESPN, all of the networks. Who do they have the Lions selecting? Who is the most? Who is the least? What is my thoughts on these players? Is it realistic? Is it not? Without further ado, let's go. Folks, subscribe to the channel. We're 20 subscribers away from 66,100. If you're one of those 20s, hit that sub button so you don't miss out on the latest Lions news and rumors. Help grow the channel. First player that the mainstream media has the Detroit Lions selecting here is cornerback Nate Wiggins, and this from Football Network's A.J. Schulte. And I do like Nate Wiggins quite a bit. Very good corner for the Clemson Tigers there. 22 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, 6 pass defense. He's a 6'2 corner. This guy is a big body, rangy, turns his head around, and is good at staying with the receiver at his size and speed. For me personally, when I look at Nate Wiggins, I would absolutely love to have Nate Wiggins. I truly do. But I do not believe he is going to be sitting there at 29 because of his size. And cornerback position is really difficult to get. You know, a lot of teams are going to be looking to acquire a 6'2 big corner like Nate Wiggins. I would love to have him, but if the Lions were to get him, I do believe you'd have to trade up in the draft to do that type of selection right there. So, question for you, should the Detroit Lions trade up in the draft to get a cornerback? HY for hell yes, HN for hell no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I went up to a Griffins game and I waited in line to get the tickets like an idiot when I should simply have gotten the tickets from Game Time. Why? Because you can get your tickets real easy for Game Time. It saves a lot of time and frustration. You're not overpaying for sports. You make sure you use Game Time. It does have killer deals, last-minute tickets, the best prices guaranteed, and you can stop stressing and start getting fun for the hype that you're going to have. It is simple. You can get exclusive flash deals for tickets for football, baseball, basketball, concerts, and more. In the middle screenshot, by the way, I think it's a fantastic feature of the app. It shows you where a seat is, and if you move your phone left to right, you can see the area like a 3D live photo. Hey, look, the Lions don't have games at Ford Field right now, but as you can see, look, we got some more games here from the understudy of football, the new Rock League. So go make sure you check that out. It's what it's all about, and it's really easy to get this bad boy. It's simple. You go in to the app of Game Time, plug in Chat Sports, get $20 off your very first purchase. Again, go to the redeem code section, plug in Chat Sports to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. You got to create an account. You have an email, all that lovely stuff to get $20 off your first purchase. The information is going to be in the description and the comment section of this video. If you're buying Lions tickets or any sort of tickets anywhere, Grand Rapids, Detroit, make sure you're using Game Time. So download Game Time today. Last minute tickets and lowest prices guaranteed. Let's continue on here with the player they have the Detroit Lions taking here. And how about cornerback Mike Sainristil here out of Michigan? Having him, who's got them? The 33rd team right there. And he's got 26 solo tackles, 2 forced fumbles, 6 pass defense, 6 interceptions. He was getting it done for the Wolverines. A lot of people who are Wolverines fans listen to my content, and they understand what he brings. I think he's probably the best nickel corner in the draft. But the thing is I think we're pretty good at the nickel corner right now, because Amik Robertson and Brian Branch, I think we're pretty good there. Now, look, if they take him, they take him. I just don't think the Lions are going to go to that route because of what he specializes in. But he is a good player, no doubt about it. Next player on the list here is my favorite right now, is Quinyon Mitchell. He's being mocked by Pro Football Network, and I love Mitchell. This season, 32 solo tackles, 1 sack, 0 forced fumbles, 18 pass defense. What makes Quinyon Mitchell really good, folks, is he's a feisty SOB, and he is a guy who likes to get dirty. I like that. He is definitely a Dan Campbell type of guy. If the Lions want to get him, though, you're going to have to trade up in the draft. It is that simple. He is not going to be there at 29. He is a teen pick, probably between 12 and 16. That's what I'm thinking. So if the Lions want to get him, you're going to have to trade up in the NFL draft, just depending on what the comp is. Look, I'm not going to be mad if they did it, though. But I got a question for you. Should the Detroit Lions trade up in the 2024 NFL draft? It is simple. T for trade, P for pass. Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Next player, a lot of people have mocking to the Detroit Lions, in who I did as well, is Enos Rackstraw, being mocked by the Draft Network and Pro Football Network. I like him. I do. 29 solo tackles, 1 forced fumble, 0 interceptions, 4 pass defense. I think he actually can be a number 1 cornerback for a team. I think he can. But with that said, I have a second-round grade on him. I think that's where he's going to go in the NFL draft. So if the Detroit Lions want to trade out of pick 29, that absolutely would be an option for round 2. I just don't see it being a round 1 selection unless crazy amount of corners come off the board and it pushes that position up. Possible. But look, we see what Brad Holmes does. He don't play. He take the player you like. So it's very possible. That's why I mocked him to the Detroit Lions in my latest mock draft. Good one. Next player available here is edge Darius Robinson, and I like this one, and a lot of people do as well. Chad Reuter from NFL.com, CBS Sports, Pete Prisco as well got him mocked to the Detroit Lions. He wants to be a Detroit Lion. He's actually a Lions fan, and he's an edge whom can help out the Lions, and I do think he would be there at pick 29, not 29 solo tackles, 8.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 0 receptions. Robinson is ideal. Absolutely ideal. And if the Lions are trying to get an edge, I think he would be the pick at 29. If they're not trading up or trading up, they decide to sit there, he very well could be the pick. I think the odds of him being the pick seems to be more likely than a lot of these players, and it makes a lot of sense. Put him with Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport. The edge position is better. You want to get younger. You want to have a complement to Hutchinson. And I know they like Marcus Davenport, but this makes more sense for the now and the long haul because he could produce right now. It's not like he needs to wait a lot of time to get that production. I think he would do it right now. Another player that is mocked to the Detroit Lions is wide receiver Ladd McConkey. CBS Sports Chris Trapasso thinking the wide receiver could be an option for Detroit. 29 receptions, 478 yards, 2 touchdowns, an average of 15.9. He's actually a really good wide receiver. Round 1 wide receiver. I do have him a round 1 grade. And there's going to be, the thing is, there could be 6, 7 wide receivers going in the first round. That's a position that teams are really trying to get. And the Lions could be one of those teams. Why? Because we did not re-sign Josh Rollins. He went to the Denver Broncos. Once that occurred, I put wide receiver available at 29. I think it's very, very possible. And you would be able to bring in a lad. You come in there. You'd have a really good young wide receiver course. St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Ladd, great. Then you have Khalif Raymond, Donovan Peoples-Jones. It would be a sick option and pick for the Lions, making this offense even better. But the thing is here, though, is the odds of the Lions take a receiver, I think it definitely went up, but still, you got to look at corner and edge as positions they could look at. We got to start building that defense up there. If they want to get a receiver, they can for sure, but there's going to be good receivers in other rounds as well. So we shall see, but it definitely is an option. So I got a question for you. If you're Brad Holmes, would you draft a wide receiver in round 1? It is simple. Y for yes and N for no. Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Next player who is mocked to the Detroit Lions here is Graham Barton, offensive tackle from CBS Sports getting Kyle Stackpole, and I like what he brings to the offensive line. He is a really good offensive lineman, tackle. Now you could play guard. He could play guard immediately as if in a pinch for sure. Say if there's an injury and we got to have a guard. But guess what? What if you have an injury to Taylor Decker? He's an option for them. It's a legit option. Getting tackle is a premium position in the draft. I know it'd make a lot of people mad because he immediately probably wouldn't start. But if you look at what the Lions need, not just now, but for the future, got Taylor Decker. What's the future of him? What if they want to move Penei Sewell to the left side? Then you get him, you stash him. He can play guard and tackle in the backup. And then next year, you can move him to right tackle, Penei Sewell to left tackle. It's something they can look at. Or what if they keep Decker? They can make him still be a guard and a backup. So when you're looking at premium position, at tackle or offensive line, don't rule it out. I still think other positions are ahead, but do not rule it out. One of the players that a lot of people think the Detroit Lions are going to draft, this is the most here, is Chop Robinson. I mean, look at it. You have ESPN, Bucky Brooks, Pro Football Network, NFL Network, Pro Football Network, like CBS Sports. A lot of people are picking Chop Robinson to the Detroit Lions. The biggest pick for a lot of these mainstream media is here. Chop Robinson, 12 solo tackles, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 0 interceptions. I think he's a second-round grade, in my opinion. I like in the second round. That's what I have a grade on. I would take Darius Robinson over him right now, personally. I think there's other options at that 29th pick, but yeah, he's a possibility. He is a possibility with that 29th pick, and it's realistic. He's one of the guys that you probably have to look out for. I'd say if you look at 5 players whom the Lions could take, you'd be in the top 5 just because of his position, and the Lions need that help. Question for you. Name a player the Lions should draft. Any player you want to name. Put it in the comments right now. Next player here, and a lot of people having him mocked to the Detroit Lions, and he is always coming up in a conversation with me because it's realistic. That's cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry. Again, Pro Football Network, Pro Football Focus, Pro Football Network. A lot of people like Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Detroit Lions, and you can see why here. 12 solo tackles, 7 pass defense. He is a number 1 corner, and I think he's absolutely going in the first round. The problem, I think you're going to have to trade up to get Kool-Aid McKinstry. He could go probably maybe 5 picks before the Detroit Lions. So it wouldn't be a big trade up. I think you would have to trade up, though, to get him. If that is your target, you're going to have to give up some sort of draft pick to acquire him and move up. Now, if he somehow fell to the Lions, that would be an absolute value pick, and I think that's an option the Lions would just probably walk up there and take him, but he may go before the Lions pick. What do you think about all these players whom the mainstream media has the Detroit Lions selecting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you have another player? Put it in the comment section. With that said, folks, adios.